Hey guys, it's Celia, and I'm back with another memory planning video. My June of 2025 kit finally came in. I actually got June and July. I got July first, and then June came in, but they're both in, so I'm excited about that. Excited to start pulling them apart and getting all the goodies out. I feel like now what I'm also very excited about is this little flip flap guy I made for a spa day I had with my mother in law. I made this custom with some papers that just match perfectly if you're not looking too hard. I mean, once it's around the page, it'll be perfect. So I did take this into Cricut Design Space. I'll drop in some screenshots so you can see how I created all this. So first off, the font I'm using is Bebis Nouveau, I believe, on DeFont. I size all my letters up to 2 inches along with my squares because that's how tall my days are in my planner. And then I made each of the squares for each of the letters 3/4 of an inch bigger. So the S is 2 inches, the P is 2 and 3 inches, and on. And then I added these little wedges pieces with the S and the A to attach it fully. After I have them kind of spaced at the spots I wanted, I made sure to weld those pieces together. And before I cut everything out, I stacked them all up how they were going to sit on the planner so I can make sure that they were long enough or short enough. I did have to do a little bit of slicing on the ends of, like, I think I had to make the P shorter and the A longer, but there you go. When that was all set, I made sure again that my letters were going, or my pictures were going to fit in between my letters and all that. And then for this piece, I remembered to rough it up before I glued it down. I then sewed all those pieces together before I glued them down too to make the flip flap part of it. And then I grabbed one of my Heidi dies and the same paper I used for spa, and then another paper from my stash to create that little pull over there. And then these are the pictures I chose to go on top of my little tag flips. I think they're so cute. I love that picture of like the monster girls having a sleepover, and then this is a picture of a meme I found that I thought was pretty funny. So I had to include those in there. I do kind of jump around in this video, but just going with the flow. So I start up here on Monday, kind of, and then I realize I have all these pictures that would go perfectly with this little thing that says currently working on. So I cut out a green that coordinated, and then I split it so I would have the pattern paper on facing, the right side the entire time. But then I realized that my sticker was green and it wasn't going to show up very well. So I made one of pink. So I popped that down, and then these are, like I said, just some projects I was working on through the week. I kind of tucked those away, and then they're just going to go all together on, I think I put them on like Sunday or like the notes area. I didn't let that other note card piece go to waste. I used the back piece on Thursday and still made it flip flap. And then the front piece of it, I added into that little note card I made first. Grabbing pieces from my stash. That first little piece is from something I got out of some Happy Mail, actually. And then some Tracy Redesigns pieces. I looked through some super old Heidi Swapp ephemera pack, and I pulled out this Ooh La La, but then after looking at it, I feel like the handwriting is more Amy Tan. Now again, jumping back to Monday, I glue that card holder piece down. I didn't cut it as big as it's supposed to be because I didn't want to lose out on all the pattern paper that's just going to be, stuck to my planner. So I just made it so it was like big enough to be a flap on that last side. I want to use this Fresh Start piece that has been on my desk for forever. It's from like a Citrus Twist kit, and I haven't subscribed to them, so it's like 2017, so it's super old. I tried using it on a picture where we were getting some things for Landon's back to school, like clothes and stuff like that. John and him were shopping, and I thought it was really cute. I had Luna in the cart with me. But in the end, I just used it on the tab over there, and that is also from the June kit. I love the washi in this kit. It is so much fun. I use washi all over this page, and I mix it from a few different kits, but mainly from the June kit. That top one up there, I believe, is from March, and I believe these label stickers are also from March. I could be wrong though. There's been a few kits that have green in them, luckily. So I just pulled, green bits, green, black, and pink from all the kits I have. I love mixing my kits up. I love this kit, this June kit. I don't know if it's because I had to wait for it for so long and the anticipation of getting it just made me, want it more. But I absolutely love this kit. This little jot it down piece is actually from a Happy Planner sticker and notepad booklet. And then this little label guy here is from April's Stamp Society. I stamp it in both greens and the pink I chose for this spread, and I went with the pink, but ultimately all three of them make it onto the page. I also grabbed this little Here Comes the Sun from the April Stamp Society stamp set and wiped off the word sun and then stamped out the word moon. Because that was a pretty picture of the moon. I love taking pictures of the moon. I feel like they probably make it on probably every week, at least not at least every month, every full moon. So again, I'm using that other note card piece down there and some more washi. Don't worry, I do glue all my flip-flappy washies down because if they're gonna be more than pretty, they have to be kind of double adhered. Now that Stay Wild piece from Tracy Reed's Trailblazer, I decided needed a washi friend too. So I tucked a little piece of washi down there and then ripped off some more of a different pattern on that same roll. Again, I love using the pieces that, saving the pieces I'm not going to use by just sticking them onto the outside of the kit. And then it kind of shows you what washis you have in there. And then when I went to put this down, I was going to peel it apart because it felt thick and it was a sticker. So I'm so glad I tried that. I put down this little vellum heart. So it's just kind of like ghosty there and floating on top of the ooh la la. Another little piece of washi. And then that little Grit and Grace is also from the Trailblazer collection from Tracy Reed. Now moving it on to Friday, got a picture of Luna and a little skeleton that we have outside, and she'd gotten this, little table out there that we set him up on, so she was sitting there. It looked like she was having a little tea party and a little discussion. So those other pieces there are from I'll pop it down in the description box below. But it's just super fun and sparkly collection that I got in some Happy Mail. And then more washi, popping down that picture of John and the cat. And then those little flags are actually from the November kit, which is, Christmas themed. But I just headhunted all the green bits out of there and tried to find as many green pieces as possible. That little clipboard piece is from the February, I think, Stamp Society kit. And this paper clip is from the November of 2024 Stamp Society. I cut it out, which is super easy, and then I just use a utility knife or a little razor knife to cut out the inside so you can see through it. I didn't fully make it a paper clip, but it works perfectly as a little hold down tab. Now next I attached one of those old Heidi ephemera pieces to this new tag here, and I love the way it turned out. I just used some embroidery floss or thread or whatever that I'd gotten from the Dollar Tree that matched perfectly, and then I'm gluing that whole sucker down. I'm leaving the tag loose so it can hang and swing and be fun in there. More washi, and then I'm going to glue down that meme that I found along with a little half-C tag from the March Stop the Blur kit. Now, Per usual, I totally forgot to distress all of these pieces before putting them down, so I will have to do that later, but it is what it is. I like to take these little pieces, those little halfsy tags, and like curl them up so they kind of look like they're, floating underneath. But I love the way I took that folder piece that I wasn't going to use, and just added it into this and made it into a second little flip in this element. I had to cut the pictures in half and kind of use, or, give them a little bit of space in between the tops and bottoms so the pictures would, or the flaps would flip without totally creasing the pictures. So I just make a little mark with my fingers and then cut it across and glue it on down. It worked out perfectly. And you're not, it's not on a part of the picture that's super important, so I don't care. And then again, just using another one of those labels that I stamped out earlier. And boom. How freaking cute. I love it. Okay, so now I have to come through and I rough up the edges on this guy. We'll rough up the edges on the inside. We'll rough up the edges on the double inside. I need to like make myself a little sign to remind myself to distress before gluing. It would be super helpful. But I mean, with that sanding block, and then I just have like a little scrap of sanding paper, so that works pretty good to get into the spots that you can't get to very well. So adding these pops of black with a washi from April's kit. And then it is time to, I do add a little circle, to this over here because it's doing double duty, so it needed a little bit of reinforcing. A little circle is from the January Swap the Blur kit. But now time for some stamping. That first piece was from Ink Road. The second piece was Everyday Explorer, and then these are Heidi. I tried stamping on that picture, Hello Beautiful from Punny Valentine. I think it was not coming out super crazy crisp, but I kind of like the way it's ghosty. These lips, I believe, are from Heartthrob. They didn't pop out as much as I wanted to, but I just stamped them on, again, same colors and just on a scrap piece of paper, and then did some stamping behind where it's going to pop up, and then boom. A little distressing before I glued it. What's up? Because otherwise that was not going to happen. But again, I just realized as soon as I did those lips that I didn't do this note card piece, and I made sure I glued those washi pieces down, so it was down good. Was not able to pull up. That Looking Good, again, is from Punny Valentine. And then these are some super old stamps of Heidi's that I got at Tuesday morning a long time ago. If you watched my last video, you know I have a love-hate relationship with my peeled paint ink pad. It's just too juicy, so I had to use a dye ink that's actually still from Ranger to swap in over here, and then it came out a little too dark and then ended up like Rustic Wilderness, but that's okay. That's So Much to Smile About is a Heidi stamp, and then I had the brilliant idea today of stamping, what kit my stickers come from so I don't get confused. So boom, those are the June ones. I stamped June on there. That Trick or Treat is from Everyday Explorers. The This Is My piece is actually from another old Citrus Twist kit, and this little hand is from Rhodey's 5 from Ink Road Stamps. That Ha 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 is Allie Edwards, and the little scissors are from October Stamp Society stamp set. And that is my page all done. I love the way it turned out. I know I say that pretty much every month, but I love all the little bits that I created using Heidi's dies. I think I really took advantage of all the space in there, and I love this kit. I love the washi so much. I love how much I got on the page. I love how interactive this page is, but it's not super thick to be honest. So that was pretty cool. The spa piece came out perfectly. Lots of room for journaling. I love those nails. I got to go back and get my nails done. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have an awesome day.